My friend at Vercel sent me this talk about what intelligence is. I made a video about it a little bit, but basically the definition it boils down to, you should go watch this talk too, it's mind blowing, is intelligence or intelligent life is something that can model its own future. And we're intelligent because we're constantly modeling our own futures. In fact, we have this software kind of built into our brains that models everything around us, that creates like use your imagination to come up with a way to understand the world and kind of a possible prediction of your future. That's kind of what goals are, I guess. And we're doing this constantly. I mean, like literally constantly. You cannot turn off this modeling software. And it just runs and runs. And it's basically, where am I going? What's the point of this? What does this person think about me? It could be anything. It's just like a prediction algorithm to understand the near and far future. And if you don't believe me, I mean, just like pause this video and then try to not think of either the past or the future. Try to not think. It's not really possible unless you practice meditation a lot. These things keep coming up. And what happened to me with my basically episode of insanity was the prediction software, and this is just my interpretation, this isn't medical at all, is the prediction software got really like started to just consume my view of reality. So you have kind of like what's happening to you currently, the present moment, and then you have your prediction model in your mind of what's going to happen to you. And in this manic episode, my prediction software was just going crazy because a lot of things converged in my life at once. Like YouTube success started to take off with this one video about destroying this random guy I know. Sorry if you're watching this. That was kind of a brutal move. And yeah, a bunch of other factors. I talk about it in the Insane Asylum video too, but just like a lot was going right for me career-wise, and all my like future prediction software was like, wow, everything is going great. I have so many options, so many doors are open. And the problem is, if your prediction software gets kind of too excited, you start to want to live in the predicted model of reality. You want to live in this idealistic model of reality in your head. You don't like, you're not like, oh man, I just want to be imagining things right now. It's not like that. You're not like consciously thinking, I would rather be predicting the future than living the present. But it just happens because when your ideas are all like super exciting and could lead to a bunch more interesting stuff in your life, it's just like the natural thing to want to, like you just want to think more. You want to have more ideas. You just want to live in that predicted reality more and more. It's not like you want to, you just start to, like unconsciously. It starts to become more and more of your perception of the world. And now the opposite to that is what I think like Buddhism or Taoism, or there's a couple of other meditative practices. Well, there's thousands of other meditative practices. What they try to achieve is to live not by that predictive software that we have built in, because there's a bunch of benefits to not living by it. First of all, you wouldn't go into a manic episode if you just lived in the present. I mean, it's hard to be like super excited by brushing your teeth. It's much easier to be excited by brushing your teeth and thinking about like some big software project that could be very successful for you. And they also, a lot of the belief in Buddhism and stuff is like you're kind of missing out on real existence by just living in your simulated existence. And a lot of people, I think, and especially who don't meditate, live most of their lives kind of in and out of simulated existence. But it seems like it's much easier to live in your simulated reality than in actual reality, because it's boring, and you're a lot less important to the world than you are in your simulation of reality, if that makes sense. Like your predictions of the future all kind of revolve around you and what will be happening in your life next, and reality is like you're just one in billions, and your story is quite insignificant. And yeah, it's a lot more humbling, and it's a lot more boring. It's like, yeah, when you're living in a simulated reality, it's like fairy tale land where anything is possible. When you're living in real reality, it's like, well, there is nothing here but to just practice programming and it's very slow and boring, and this is the reality that's happening to me. And so another benefit that of Buddhism and of meditation is if you can eliminate, or not eliminate, but at least be much more aware of your simulation machine processing possible futures, and you can kind of dismiss those things as insignificant, then everything you do will be a lot more pure and a lot less influenced by predictions of like an ideal future. They also give the example, like if an artist, or if anyone really, becomes too ideal about their future, their prediction software is too optimistic, then there's a gap that happens where reality doesn't actually reflect your like super optimistic projection of your future. And eventually you'll get to a point where you realize, wait a minute, I've miscalculated. And my prediction of the future is not accurate because I was like extrapolating a bunch of things that weren't actually as concrete as I thought. And then you hit burnout or depression, or for me it wasn't like terrible burnout, or not terrible depression. It was just kind of like lethargy, ennui, because it's like you're suddenly at this point where you realize you have a lot more work to do on a lot of things, and it's like your life actually wasn't going in the crazy trajectory you thought it was. So yeah, one idea of Buddhism is like if you can be very conscious of that, and you can just see it, it won't leave a trace on what you're doing. They have this kind of, I don't exactly know how to explain like the concept of your thoughts leaving a trace in your activity, but it kind of makes intuitive sense somehow, which is like what a lot of Buddhist text is. I listened to like 4 or 5 times with my ears this book. I'll just throw it up on screen. I don't remember what it's called. And yeah, so there's a question I have for any people who followed Buddhism or any kind of meditative tradition in the past is there are a bunch of benefits that you can get from being in the present. And one of them could just be stronger focus and like a more pure, deliberate activity. Another one is you won't be kind of swept in this undercurrent of like predictions you're making in your head. You'll be able to, if you're staying present, it's easier for you to make decisions yourself using your logical brain rather than just being kind of swept along by your preconceived ideas of things. It just seems like, okay, so basically mental clarity is what I'm trying to say. Hard to actually articulate that. So meditation gives you a bunch of benefits, right? But it's the wrong idea to practice Zen or many other forms of meditation, I guess, if you're trying to practice it to gain something. Like if you're trying to practice it with the gaining idea that it'll make you more productive, it won't work, which is, I don't know, that's like a hard thing for me to realize. I don't know, that's a tough piece of this. Yeah, if presence gives you a bunch of benefits, it's like I am meditating for the benefits, but apparently you're not supposed to do that because it's a gaining idea, or there's something wrong with that thinking. And I guess what's wrong with it is it maybe just makes it impossible to actually realize those benefits because of some little confusing thought loop. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, tough to say. But yeah, I'm feeling less burnt out by the day, which is good. I think it lasts a little bit of time. Another thing is, one of my all-time goals that I was really close to, well, I thought was really close to achieving, but now realize I have a long way to go, is to become like a giant corporate slop channel like Fireship. And I was watching an earlier Fireship video, and he talked about being burnt out after like the first 6 months or year in doing his YouTube channel and just having to push through it anyway, which is just super inspiring that like even he went through some struggles doing what he does. But I guess, I don't know, I'll get there eventually. It's a long road, but I'll become a slop channel one day too. It'll be all AI and sponsorships. Burnout just kind of makes all your ideas seem not as interesting, and it makes everything seem much harder. But they're not actually any different. Like, like I feel like I have this certain standard I have to uphold in my videos where there's like a certain amount of quality, a certain amount of humor, a certain amount of blah blah blah. It's got to be a certain way or else it sucks. And during the peak of my burnout, or the valley, I guess, of my burnout, every video idea I have just feels like, oh, this is low quality, this is terrible. But the funny thing is, they really, I don't think, are much different in quality than videos I've made in the past. I put out some absolute garbage videos in the past. It's just kind of an endless form of practice. And there are going to be some garbage videos. But yeah, for some reason, like, my standard got much more strict. And during the valley of this burnout, I felt like I was just not producing good content at all, which is just like purely a mental thing, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe there is some truth to my content being worse because of burnout, but I don't know. I don't know. Uh, yeah, but it's interesting. I didn't anticipate there are actually like some extreme mental effects that being a micro Vim celebrity can have on you. Like it's just a I don't know. It opens doors to you and closes other doors. It just transforms your life a little bit to be. So I guess the way to move forward and out of burnout is to just practice not living in simulated reality and practice just understanding my prediction software in my brain and how to like quiet it down, because it ends in you missing out on a lot of things, and you just have to appreciate the present. It's a tough skill though, very tough for me at least, because I've just like lived with strong predictions constantly going on. I don't know, maybe you have some advice in the comments. But yeah, I think it just changes your brainscape to be a micro celebrity. I mean, I was recognized by Justin Keys, the maintainer of NeoVim. Like, that guy knows who I am. That's awesome. And I talked to the lead of Typed, and he's like my programming idol. And I even met that guy from the TJ DeVries channel.